All right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our queens and all our kings that is in the house. And of course, those that are on our YouTube platform, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here on Deep Dive Globally Changing Lives. And of course, we are going to start with our signature tune, which is In It to Win It. And as you know, it is from our very own international recording singing artist, and that is Queen Lurato Shidari. So at this time, we are going to definitely play In It to Win It.
of the closing doors, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Queen Loretta Shadari. Really appreciate, really appreciate. And so at this time, we are going to definitely get into our first and wonderful presentation because, as you know, my favorite presentation is the mindset. I don't care what anybody think or feel. I believe that the mindset is of most of tantamount importance. And so when you talk about the mindset, you are actually talking about what is your belief system, and it is your belief system that actually runs your entire life. What you believe in or what you don't believe in, that is what actually runs your life. And so we are going to look this evening by our one and only wonderful mindset leader, of course, which is none other than Queen Pastor Tony Coleman. And of course, she is a international, well-renowned, actually, international speaker. She is an entrepreneur long before on passive. Um, she, she, if you want any book um, to to be published, then of course this is one of the persons that you will need to speak with. And I'm sure all of us, or most of us, is looking to write our own book. So if not, then think about it, because your life journey might be very important to someone
Yes.
in life. So it's very important.
Yes.
So at this time, building focus towards smart goals. And writing a book is a very smart goal. And so that is what will be Pastor Tony will be touching on mindset today. So without any further ado, over to you, Queen Pastor Antoinette Coleman.
Thank you, King Dr. Derek. And I think the world of you. I think you're awesome. Actually, I think that everyone on Deep Dive, Kings and Queens, are awesome because we all have a story to tell, mindset and all. And that's how we grow. And I just enjoy everyone when they share. And once again, it's an honor to be on Deep Dive. And so I will begin with building focus toward SMART goals. And a SMART goal is a way of setting objectives that are clear, measurable, and achievable. And the acronym for SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And whenever we set goals, we should keep those five qualities in mind toward setting our SMART goals. And it keeps you focused. It keeps your mind focused as you head toward these qualities. And so when you think about SMART goals, think of them as steps you will take to achieve your goal or goals you set. And so you start out with number one. The first step is define the specific outcome you want to achieve. And an example of that is setting an amount you want to raise for a specific project or event instead of a goal that is too broad, like raise more money. And sometimes in the past, I'd sit in meetings and they say, okay, this year we have to raise more money. Well, how much money? And when you set that amount and make sure it's something that is specific and achievable. And I'll start with when we were um, when we do our WOW event, and it was one year we had, and it was way in the beginning, and we said, we're going to set a goal to, at the end of expenses and all of that, our revenue would be $5,000. We want to be able to raise $5,000 after the WOW event. And a lot of the monies that we raise in our events go toward a lot of the projects and programs that we run. And everyone knows that Step Up is one of the programs that we run. And so a lot of those expenses are in supplies. And one year we had kids that had a difficulty making the program. So we even included bus cards, as part of our expenses for the kids. And so you want to be specific. When it comes to setting a goal, you don't want to have something broad, but you want to be specific. And then step 2, decide how to measure your success. And being a nonprofit, a lot of times when we go after goals or grants, they want to know, the grantor always asks, how are we going to measure the success of our programs? And so one way is we have a benchmark. Our goals are measurable by using benchmarks. And so going back to the WOW event, we look at past events, how much we were able to make or bring in, what it was that we did, how we would change that if we need be, how would we increase areas, do things differently, and all of that. And we use those benchmarks, okay, that would show us normally specific things and specific scenarios that we will have followed, and we can use that to increase or whatever the case. And so we would use previous events from the WOW, and we would improve on those events. So step 2 is to measure your success. Okay, measure the success using previous benchmarks in our performance. Okay, number 3 is make your goal achievable or attainable. If you set a goal, you'll get frustrated if you can't achieve it or attain it. Okay, you don't want your goals to be too easy, but you also need to set goals you can reasonably reach. Achievable means your goals shouldn't be entirely out of reach, but you still want to more or less stretch yourself. So you ask, do you have the skills? And do you have available resources to reach those goals? So what skills do you have? And what are the resources? And a lot of times, going back to the WOW event, we look at our resources as to who has connections. In the past, were a lot of our members able to encourage family members and friends to attend our events? the grants, the grantors that we have, the people who were sponsors, who were very diligent in being sponsors of the WOW event. The table vendors. Every year we have a specific amount of vendors that make it a point to be a part of the WOW event. And then whatever space is left, we try to recruit more. Okay, ticket sales. During the course of the year, we're always meeting people and encouraging them to attend. And so we can measure all of this as to the amount of people, the other events that we attend in supporting other organizations, meet and greets and all sorts of events and occasions that would rise up. And so we measure all of that. We keep in mind all of that, what can draw people through advertising and having good entertainment, and how popular our entertainment would be. And so you take a look at your resources and you take a look at your skills. What can each member do to help save money for that event? Who is able to donate their time and abilities for our WOW event? So you take a look at your skills, resources, abilities, and resources. Okay, number 4, step 4, confirm that your goal is realistic. Can it be reached? Okay, and it's similar to the number 3, but you have to be realistic. So not only do you want to set attainable goals, but you have to be realistic in setting them up. For example, we want to increase our revenue so that after all is said and done, after expenses and all of that, we have a revenue of $5,000. Well, doing stuff like bring in more vendors when the venue is limited, or overselling tickets, again, when the venue is limited, when you can only get so many people in there, or having more entertainment than you have time that would allow the performance of those entertainers. And a lot of times in the past, when we had our WOW events, we made sure that we didn't have too many vendors, because if you have too many vendors, then the time allotted, the hour that's allotted for people to shop, then a lot of those vendors wouldn't get the whole exposure of everyone in the room, because you'd run out of time. So we try to keep in mind that there's a limited amount of vendors that we have during that event, and then also the amount of entertainment during the event, because if we have so much time and we have all these entertainers, okay, a lot of them would not be able to minister the way that God would want them to minister, or perform in their full capacity because of time. And so we want to keep everything realistic. We don't want to go overboard just for the sake of quote unquote money. Okay, we still want to be realistic. We still want to have quality events and meet the goals, the other goals that we may have in mind to meet. Okay, And then step 5, okay, and it's setting a time-bound deadline. For the WOW event, we usually try to start 4 to 6 months before the event in advertising and gathering our sponsors and you know and our entertainment and our venue if it should change, and food and all of that. And then we set a time for our guests when it's a cutoff, because a lot of times the venues want a head count a few days before. And so if we have people coming in after the head count, we don't want to risk not having enough food or not having enough seating. And so it's very important to have a deadline. And deadlines are essential for achieving your goals because they motivate you to act, okay, to be a little more forthright. You want to stay more focused, and you want to in achieving that goal. Okay, and so in conclusion, going back over the different steps. So number 1 is have a specific outcome that you want to achieve. Step 2 is decide how you're going to measure your success. And again, it's by using the benchmarks and the things, the way the previous outcome for the events before. Step 3 is make your goal achievable or attainable, being realistic about the goal that you have set. And so you take a look at your resources at hand and your own abilities and skills. Number 4, you confirm that your goal is realistic. And so you're not going to try to overdo something for the sake of, having more money or whatever that goal might be. Okay, stay within a realistic guideline. And then step 5, you set a time-bound deadline. Okay, and that is my presentation on building focus towards SMART goals. Okay, thank you.
Mercy, mercy, mercy. Thank you very much, Queen, Pastor T. Really appreciate that awesome presentation. Any comments, any questions or anything from anyone? Any comments, any questions from anyone? No? Okay, all right. Queen Jacqueline Warner, any comments? All right, I guess it was totally delivered or over-delivered. Queen Joan, any comments? Queen Joan? No? All right. Okay, I guess everything was fully delivered. Thank you very much, Queen Pastor Tony. Really appreciate that. Was an awesome presentation. All right, so we're just going to move into the second presentation. I know that Maybe I've talked about computer and technology, um, you know, over some time ago. But we got to move from step to step, remind you maybe of some things that you have known long before, and maybe give you some other information that you may never know. But just bear with me, because it's a process learning about computers, and the best way to learn about computer and technology is to come from the basics, come from the basics, and you know, and then move right along. All right, and so therefore, we are going to be starting. Okay, basic parts of a computer. Basic parts of a computer. Right? No, you might know all of them, but there are many different types of computers, but they are used similar parts to operate. We are going to show you what these parts are and what they are used for, preferably starting with desktop. We are So the computer case holds everything, which the main components are in, which is that thing that some people call the tower. And this is actually processing um, okay. Um, Let me hold on. This is kind of in the way here. Okay, don't know why it's not moving. All right, that's all right. All right, so um, they have similar parts that they operate, right? And what they are used for. So first of all, the computer case holds the main component of the computer. This is where the actual processing happens. Today, most cases are what we call tower, the tower case, but they can also come in other shapes and sizes, especially like those other ones that you may see in the hospital, and you just see a little square box at the back of the monitor. Those are also the computer tower, but those are the smaller ones. They can also come into other shapes and sizes. To view things on your computer, of course, you need a monitor. The monitor uses the video processing inside to display images, text, and other components. So you need a display card, right? Whether it's a computer, desktop, or a laptop. That is how you see what you are doing on a computer. So the monitor allows you to see, okay? Um, then, of course, monitors have a LCD or a LED display, both of which are thin, not those big old-time ones. All-in-one computers also, which is more compact, and it just comes with a monitor-looking thing, and everything is on that monitor case into one single unit. Okay. To interact with the computer, you'll need a keyboard and a mouse. Keyboard comes in many different types, including wireless and ergonomics. The mouse is used to control the mouse pointer that is on your computer screen. And of course, so you can click and interact with your computer. Most mouse detect movement using an optical sensor on the bottom. Some old time mouse come with a ball, which is old time, but now it's it's a optical sensor that when it slides over a surface, then you are able to move that mouse on the screen. Underneath, you'll find a small electronic eye. Laptops combine all these things into one. So the laptop um, have everything on board. The of course, the components inside a computer case, plus a built-in screen, keyboard, and touch pad that is on a laptop. Touchpad is small touch senses area that takes place on a traditional mouse. It lets you control the mouse pointer using drawing motion with your finger. Laptop offers the best of both worlds. You can use them on the go, and that is why it is known as a laptop, and it is portable. The battery is there, so you can plug it into the wall, charge up the battery, and you can have that on the go. Or you can also connect a separate monitor, um, keyboard, and mouse, effectively turning your laptop kind of into a like a desktop kind of scenario. So those are you can see each part plays an important role, which you will come to understand as you spend more time with your computer. So that is kind of quick overview on what um, the different parts. Now we're going to look at what is inside, because what is inside, most people, it's neither here nor there. You just want to know it work. But sometimes it's good to know what is inside of your computer. So you may already know that there are many important parts inside the computer, but exactly what? Let's take a look inside and learn about the various components that makes the computer works. Whether it's a desktop or a laptop, every computer has a large circuit board called a motherboard. That is what everything is connected to. This contains some of the most important parts of the computer, such as the central processing unit, CPU, can be considered the brain of the computer because it processes information and carries out um, the different the different processes that it needs to do. Since it trends since it trends to get hot, since it tends to get hot, it's covered by a piece of metal called a heat sink, so that it, because if it runs too hot, then sometime the computer or the laptop will shut down. Mainly laptops because it's smaller, but the operation is basically the same, and it heat up even more. And one of the processors that you must avoid is the AMD. So if you are going to especially buy a laptop, please avoid AMD processors, right? Um, those are one of the worst, right? So the heat sink is what takes the heat from off the motherboard. The motherboard also contains a computer RAM, or random access memory. This is a short-term memory that the computer uses whenever you are performing calculations. So it's not for storage, and it's you have to save, or when you save the work that you are doing on your computer, like if you are doing a Word document or a PowerPoint or whatever, if you don't save what you are doing on, which will now save to the hard drive, then the you will lose it. because anything that is on the random access memory, which is the RAM, which is where the actual work is done, it is not done on the hard drive. The hard drive is just for storage, only for storage. And so you might just buy a laptop, especially a laptop, even a desktop. You might just purchase it last week, and then of course, by the time you download a few things, download a few apps, download a few um, you know software, and start to work on a few things, and you have maybe 10, 15 items that is on your task bar, which is that bottom bar we spoke of the last time, at the bottom of your screen, with the start to one end and the clock or the time and weather and all those things on one end, the taskbar, where everything that you are working on is actually itemized on the taskbar. Now, the more things you put on the taskbar is the more you are working the RAM. And the RAM, if it's a 4 GB RAM, that by the time you put two things on your screen to work on, your computer or your laptop start to work slow, and you say, "Oh, I just bought it," and you're frustrated, but that's really because the RAM is very small, right? And so a 4 gig RAM, nah, that that is outdated. That is outdated from the get-go. An 8 gig RAM, that is also outdated from the get-go. A 16 gig RAM, that is also outdated. But those are the laptops that most people go for because they are cheaper. You can get a 4 gig or a 8 gig RAM laptop for anywhere between $500. So that is what most people go for, right? You might, when they are on sale, you might get a 16 gig for the same $500. But then again, right? Remember, you get what you pay for. All right. So anything that is at least anywhere from 64 gig, right? That would be preferred. Okay. So a hard drive provides long-term storage, right? A hard drive provides long-term storage. Many hard drives use a magnetic platter to store data, but many newer computers have solid-state driver, which are faster and are more durable, but also, again, expensive. So, all of these things, yes, it might be a 1 TB hard drive, but that doesn't make the hard drive good. What makes the hard drive good is whether it is a solid state or it is just a regular magnetic platter. All right. And so sometimes when you're saving things, it takes long to save, is because of the hard drive, the type of hard drive. So all of these little things make the computer or the laptop cheap, right? Or less expensive. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration when you are purchasing a laptop or a computer, right? It's more expensive, the solid state, as I said. Many desktop computers, the motherboard has expansion slots, right? So you can add more things to it, right? Um, to allow you to upgrade by adding expansion cards, right? And these slots can give you more of whatever you might want, right? Like more RAM or more better or an upgrade on your video card or those kind of things. Okay. Um, and so even also, let me just go back a little, because this was very important. Okay, so as it was saying here, right? The expansion slots enable you to upgrade. So you might want to upgrade to a wireless card, because especially computers, desktop computers, don't come with wireless on board, right? And unless you're building your own computer from scratch, or if you see one in the store, then it is going to be much more expensive than the cable where you're plugging in that that Ethernet cable card, right, to connect um, the internet to your desktop computer. But to connect your wireless home network, um, you need to have a wireless card on board. Most laptops, however, don't have expansion card, because they try to put everything already on board, especially Wi-Fi capabilities and Bluetooth capabilities from the get-go. Of course, the computer component need electricity. That's how it's going to work. So a power supply is also needed, because everything on the computer uses, nothing on the computer really uses 110 volts that comes out of your outlet, right? So the power supply now have to break that down, so that the things in your computer can actually work, because it don't need a lot of um, power to work, because the power supply breaks it down, and some things are running from direct current, right, instead of alternating current. So the power supply from the wall outlet to your different component. Laptop also contain a battery, of course, that let you use it anywhere. So that is what mainly makes the laptop portable. A computer is a pretty complex machine, but know that you're seeing what goes on inside. It should be a little less mysterious, and that is very important, right? So that is just a quick overview of your your computer and your laptop. Hopefully, next time we will dive a little deeper into the computer and laptop, so that you can have more knowledge of what you are using, because every person maybe have a laptop or a desktop. So, it's very good to at least know how it works, and what it is used, how these components in the computer or the laptop, um, operates, so that you can have a knowledge of it. So therefore, especially when you are going to purchase, right? There are some key things to look for, right? And as I said, the RAM is one. Um, yes, everybody, always talk about storage, but storage, which is your which is your um, hard drive, that's what they call it. As was said, make sure that it's solid state. It's much faster, much quicker. So make sure it's a solid state um, storage. So I thank you all very much for listening. And I know most persons might know what I presented. However, it's best to take it step by step going going forward. All right. Thank you all very much. I hope it was beneficial. Um, any any questions? Okay. Queen Pastor Tony.
Excellent presentation. Wanted to know which would be the best. I know the laptop is portable and I love my laptop, but once upon a time I did have a desktop. So which would be the most stable and valuable to have between the two?
A desktop.
Okay.
A desktop is much more stable.
Okay.
It's you see with a desktop also, unlike well, I don't know many people, but let me put it this way. I don't know many people that custom build a laptop. I don't know,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I know there are more people that custom build a desktop. It's
Okay.
easier to upgrade also. It's easier to upgrade
Yeah.
a desktop to get what you want for what you want, right? In a desktop than a laptop.
Okay.
Okay. So for
Okay.
anything that you are doing, especially if you are doing a small business, because I know First Lady Queen Dr. Benny talk about small business a lot. A
Mhm.
desktop is more preferable. But for any reason, home reason, um, if you're a person that moves around a lot, then it's good to have a laptop. And even
Okay.
if you have a laptop, if you're deciding between the two, you only have money for one,
Mhm.
then I would think that it is now based on your movements. So if you move around a lot, then the first thing is a laptop. But still keep
Okay.
in mind that you need a desktop because a desktop
Okay.
is a lot more stable than a laptop.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Derek.
Mhm. All right, wonderful, wonderful. Any other questions or comment or anything, anyone? All right, okay. All right. Yes, that is
I'm
it. Let me
sorry.
look over here.
Um,
Yes, go ahead. I was just looking at
what brand desktop would be the best to have? The Hewlett Packard, the Dell?
no, no,
If
don't
there's
even talk. Don't even mention Dell on in my ears. Dell is the worst computer, Windows computer on the planet. All right. I
okay.
know that everywhere you go, you see a Dell. If you go to the government office, if you go there, most business have a Dell, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But Dell
Heward.
is just as selfish as Apple. Um,
Okay.
in other words, it is hard, even though it is a Windows computer, it is hard to use generic stuff in Dell. Very hard.
Okay.
So if you want to upgrade or if you want to fix anything, you have to buy the Dell product, right? And that is where they really make their money, right? Because yes, the Dell might be a little cheaper or a little more cost effective, but you want to upgrade, which they don't last long. Yes, one and two of them, maybe last, but generally speaking, they'll don't last very long. All right.
Okay. So
H,
Heward
HP,
Packard.
yes,
Okay.
HP is good for
Okay.
the cost for the price point. Um, but you have others. You have Hyesu. You have one that is the gamers them love, which is MCI, right? If you
Okay.
and really and truly, when you hear about gaming computer, a lot of people think that well, it's only for gaming. but a gaming computer is much stronger, or a gaming laptop is much more stronger than an average laptop, because
Okay.
a gaming laptop or a gaming computer, you're going to have a fairly decent to a very elaborate video card, because of course they want their games to look fabulous, right? So the video card is one of the very important things on a laptop, because you or a computer. Let me say computer. Computer is desktop and laptop. So the more quality computers would be a gaming computer. It's more quality, right? It's going to be a little more expensive, of course, but it's a better quality. All right, even just for general purposes. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Derek.
Welcome. All right. Wonderful. All right. So,
Doc-
um, you know, um,
Dr. Derek.
Queen Queen Janet, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a HP, and I went to
Mhm.
look at it, and it says it has the ADMI. AMD, sorry.
Yeah, AMD.
Yes.
AMD is not a good processor. It runs very hot, which means it overwork the computer or the laptop. It overworks, um,
Yeah, gets
and
hot.
it gets very hot.
Yes, that's
Try,
true.
if it's a laptop, try not to put it in your lap, because although it's a laptop, the AMD for some reason, um, it
Gets
it
hot.
needs good ventilation, very good
Yeah,
ventilation. It need it. So if you put it in a lap, which is cloth, it's not going to get good ventilation, and henceforth it is going to be even more hotter.
yeah,
Mhm. So, um, you know, AMD is not really a good processor. Not a good processor. All right. The best processor is Intel. Intel. Whether the i5, i5 is kind of outdated now. So the i7 or the i9, right? If you are going to purchase a computer or a laptop now, today, and when I mean today, I mean from today going forward, don't purchase anything less than an i7, Intel i7. Don't purchase anything less than that as your processor. You're wasting your money, wasting your money. Because even though you purchase a i7 today, you see, this is the thing about computers that a lot of people don't know. Purchasing the computer today doesn't mean that it's new. That kind of sound weird, Pastor T. That sound a little weird. Yes, but Pastor T will agree with me. It's that's not how computer world work, right? And that is why they tell you when that computer came out, right? They tell you when those computer came out. So if you like say, well, um, you know, go and search, like in i5, right? Um, the i5, let me just double check before I speak. Okay, 2009 and 2010 it was launched, right? 2010. That's a i5, right? So that means that is over a decade old. So even though you buy it today, because they're still selling them, you know. You think they're going to throw it away because them have an i7? Eh? They're not going to throw it away, right? No, they're still going to sell it because there's a market, there's a demand, right? Because a man might just have $500 in his pocket. So because a man just have $500 in his pocket to buy a laptop or to buy a computer, just hold the i7, hold the i5. All right. It brand spanking new, pretty outside. It's an old computer. It's an old laptop, right? Right. So it came out 2010. Okay. So as far as the computer world is concerned, that is an old computer, right? Um, so don't be tricked into you know, how the computer world work. You know, so if you have a $500, you can get a laptop, you can get a computer, but it does that it was, you know, released, it was, you know, put out on the market 2010. All right, so that is how the computer world work. Okay. um and even though you might think that the 2007 came out 2015, right? So it's still an old computer. Oh, what am I talking about? The 2000, the i5, that is 15 years old, over about 15 years old. 2000, oh my goodness, that's so far away, man. 2026. Okay, so that is 15 years. 15 years, right? And the i7 is 10 years because it came out 2015, right? So the i7 is 10 years, the i5 is 15 years, right? The i9 is 4 years or 5 years, right? Came out 2020 or 19, thereabout, right? So, but of course, they upgrade, update and upgrade the clip feature. So it depends on which one of the generation that you are now purchasing. So all of that is important also, right? But the 2000, the i9 is the latest, and then depend on what generation that they reach, right? Basically. Okay. So those are very important. Go ahead, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Queen Jacqueline. I sure I saw her hand up. Okay. All right. So maybe our question was answered.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. Just want to say an awesome presentation, Dr. Derek. Thanks for the over review of the components and what's inside the computer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. So I'm not seeing any questions on the YouTube, just a lot of thanks. Thanks to Queen Pastor Tony. And okay, yes. All right. So at this time, I'm just going to ask our Queen Pastor Tony Coleman to just give her closing.
Okay. Well, we know that SMART goals can deliver improved results when we connect them to our actual work and use them to monitor our progress as it happens. And when goals exist alongside projects and tasks, you can assign viable resources, human or otherwise. You can identify issues early by using benchmarks from previous projects and things. And you can make adjustments really smoothly because as you're going along, you'll see what needs to be improved and all of that. And so, all in all, it's great to have or utilize SMART goals to help you stay focused as you strive to achieve your overall goals that you set. And I'll tell you that in the past, I've used SMART goals in working with other companies. And when I was having to train different sites and things for new products and services that the computer, the IS department would offer, and also the accounting department. And so I was the one that they would send, and I would have my little booklets and things to train the other departments on the new products that and services that the company would purchase. And so I would have my little SMART goals, what I want to achieve for each day, and whether or not it was achievable and all of that. So I encourage everyone to use SMART goals. Okay.
All right, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Use SMART goals. And of course, just to let you know, because maybe some of you might be wondering, but our First Lady, Queen Dr. Benny, she's working now. They have, I don't want to say ordered. I don't think it's ordered. But she has to work extra hours up until April, May, I think. Yes, April, May. So she has to work a few extra hours. And so you are stuck with me. Right, King Carlton, you're stuck with me. So we are going to be definitely elaborating more and more and getting into more details on computer on Tuesdays, right? But it's best to start from the basics so that when I say something, scratch your head, like 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now or a month from now, you scratch your head and what is that? All right. We gradually came up the hill and gradually climbing the hill. All right. So that is why we start at the beginning, right? With this computer class. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate your participation and your presence. And just another glance at YouTube. All right, so thank you all very much. Okay, let me just let me see. Okay, okay. So just same thing. Rosanna and Janet is saying thanks in the chat here. All right, so thank you all very much. Really appreciate. And those on YouTube, thank you all very much for joining us on Deep Dive, Globally Changing Lives. So at this time, we are going to close our YouTube and have a song, um, couple songs in our after party at this time. So thank you all in the on the YouTube for joining us.